evening. It is Thursday. What date is it today?
Oh,
March
the
9th.
ninth.
March 2023. I cannot believe we're in the third month of the year already, but here we are. Welcome to the Millionaire Ladies Mob Thursday Night Live, where we bring to you information all about money. How where we try to make sure that you know all the things that are going on that is going to affect your pocketbook. And tonight we have got a doozy for you. We're talking about the Secure 2.0 Act of 2022. I am Carmen Bernard, and I am here. I help you to protect your income. Well, both of us. So help you to protect your income. We help you to create an income stream that you cannot outlive and that you can access tax free, as well as eliminate debt in 9 years or less, including your mortgage, student loans, and all consumer debt. We also help you to create a legacy of generational wealth. And also, we both help with Medicare. We educate our community on Medicare. We also help with the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare. Good evening, Aaliyah. It's great to be here with you tonight. We are missing one of our counterparts, but she is out of town doing some educating in person, I presume. But it's good to be here with you tonight, Aaliyah. How are you?
Oh, it is wonderful. It was a beautiful day today. I am so excited to be here because, this year we are just focusing on helping you to create that legacy, healthcare, retirement, everything. But this Secure Act or the Secure 2.0 Act that we're going to talk about tonight, this is relevant, and a lot of you probably have not even heard about it. Okay, so we want to make sure you take notes, like, share, replay, listen to it at your leisure so that you can understand some of the things that have gone into place probably while we were sleeping. We didn't even pay any attention to this. So, welcome everyone to the Millionaire Ladies Mob. It's going to be a great night tonight, and we're going to inform you about this timely topic.
You're absolutely right that this thing went into effect as we were sleeping. It went into effect December 29, 2022. If we weren't sleeping, we were partying. It, it was the end of the year. It was Christmas time. It was the holiday season. We were celebrating while, as they always do, they were making decisions for us. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Some of the things in this bill are good things. So it's going to be great for you to listen to it. We are live on YouTube today. We're also live on our business pages. Please like, please share. If this does not apply to you, share it with someone else. But this Secure 2.0 Act, it's actually a follow up to the Secure Act of 2019. It's the Secure Act of 2022 is the one follow up to 2019. And this piece of legislation basically were two things that they combined, and it was the basically both the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, both branches came together, passed their bills, consolidated it, and passed this big bill. This it's all about your money. It's all about your money, and you should know about your money. You should be able to see what things are there, what things affect you, and how they do and how they don't, what applies to you and what doesn't. But
Mhm.
this this was part of the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2023. And as I stated before, it basically expands on that Secure Act of 2019 and it is to improve retirement saving opportunities.
Carmen, why do you think that the government has to help us to make sure we have something for retirement? That you know what? That is something that I don't understand, because if we look at what's happening today, the other day, and I have to say this, I was on the gas company had sent me an email so I could join in and listen to the request that they had to raise the rates. Now, remember, I don't know about any other parts of the country.
Tell them where you're from.
I'm in California. So in California, our gas bills went up 200%. So, in November or September, October, we were paying 80, 70, $80 a month for gas. And then all of a sudden, we're paying 300, 400, 500, and there was no reason for it. And then they're asking for an increase. And so what struck me, and this is probably one of the reasons why the government decided we have to help or make people save for retirement. There were so many seniors or even people that were on fixed income that got on the call because they let them speak. And man, it was called I call it the angry hour.
Wow.
Because they were so upset because one lady said, and I get it. You know what? If you can get a big salary in the millions, by all means do it. But on the backs of the seniors, the people on fixed income is what they were so upset about. They talked
Right.
about the salaries of these people, and then they talked about how their income has not increased, 5%, let alone 200%. So for a lot of them to make two or three payments of 200% more than what they were paying or used to paying, it was really hitting the pockets very hard. And that's in addition to, the electric bills going up and then inflation. So I see why the government says we need to save for retirement. I do see that. But you know what? Again, we were sleeping on this and what weren't paying attention. But those of us that are not, I'm not on retirement yet. I wish, you know, those that are retirement or already on retirement, if someone had made them do more than Social Security, maybe they wouldn't feel such a pinch. I'm not saying it's bad, good, or indifferent, but this is something we have got to think about. We need to think about what's going to happen when we can't physically go to a job or go online and work and get income, and we're on our fixed income. Have we prepared for that? So I think that this was a good bill because as an employer, I have employees and they always, all of them, except for a couple, participate in the 401k. So now we've got to make employers offer a 401k for those. And it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just something to help people in their retirement years so that they will have income to pay for, housing and food and Medicare and, health. I mean, just all kinds of things. So this piece of legislation came about at a time when I think it really was needed, and we have to understand it. And maybe, if we start doing something, even if it's not in our employer, maybe we can do something different. What are your thoughts on that, Carmen?
So I definitely agree with you, and you made some great points about this piece of legislation. But I think that's the reason why I love what you and I do, because this has been missing for a very long time from our communities. Here's the thing: we relied on our parents, our grandparents, to give us to tell us what they knew and what they understood, and it is a way different retirement for us than for our parents or our grandparents. And when I say our, guys, I'm including you younger people. So for me, my parents, and for you, maybe your grandparents and things like that. But our parents, our grandparents told us go to work, get a job, keep that job for 40 years and retire. Now, here's the thing. Back then, jobs provided pensions. So
Right.
you had pensions. Then, of course, you had Social Security. I mean, Social Security came by in what, the 30s or something. It
Yeah.
started, but so, but then you had your pension. You had Social Security. Your pension was a defined benefit plan that was going to take care of you for the rest of your life. So you had that with Social Security. And if you had a little bit of savings, you had that three-legged stool. Well, companies realized that they can keep more money if they got rid of that secure benefit pension plan. So those are
Mhm.
gone. Those are a thing of the past. Very few people still have it. Some teachers still have it, some government workers or police officers and things like that. And even with those, there's things that have changed with that. But now they decide to shift the burden of retirement to the people, the employees, right? So with us having the same mindset that like we thought we can work here and they would take care of us, that's not happening anymore.
No.
So many of us, the two-legged stool have now become one leg. And if you ever tried to sit on a one-legged stool, you know what happens, right? There's nothing there to hold it up because pensions are gone. And guys, Social Security is not, if you've been hearing this, hopefully you've been hearing and listening, that Social Security is in trouble, right? So
Right.
by 2030, 2035, they are slated to run out of money. Does it mean that nobody's going to get money? No, it just means that they're going to have to cut back. So people's amounts, benefits that they're getting now, it's going to be even less. And it makes sense because when Social Security first came in, there are lots of other factors, right? There was the fact that we weren't living as long as we are living right now. So
Right.
Social Security was slated to start at 65, but most people died by the time they were 68 or 62, 63. So all that money was in there. The other thing was the baby boomers, right? The baby boomers, the generation was so big. There were so many more people putting in to Social Security than people withdrawing. But now the baby boomers has been retiring. The last of the baby boomers are going to be retiring in the next, 10 years and or less than 10 years. So what is happening now is that more of the baby boomers are pulling out money than their people putting in money. So that's one of the reasons it's running out. Then secondly, inflation is eating out our money. So lastly, the people who started with the 401ks, that came in the early 80s and stuff like that, those people are beginning to retire and they're realizing that those people have no money.
Yep.
People are retiring with less than $100,000. And even if it took you $20,000 a year to live, that's 5 years of living. And you're likely to live 25, 30 years into retirement. So people are running
Mhm.
out of money.
And one more thing, they didn't consider, or we don't think about our health could change. So that $20,000, we were healthy during our working years. And as you grow older, what happens? There's more aches and pains. You can't get out of the bed.
Right.
There are little things that happen to you. And then there are big things.
Yes. And so basically, this is going to help because people are not saving many. First of all, people are not even staying at one employer for long enough to even invest in the 401ks and things like that. So most people are changing careers every 3 to 5 years or changing jobs every 3 to 5 years. So that failed. That thing where they were going to put it on you for you to save some of your money, that failed. So they have to do something to help Americans to save money. And that's what this Secure 2.0 Act is going to help with a little bit. It's not going to solve all the problems, but it's
Hmm.
going to help with a little bit, right?
Right, and you know what else it's going to do? So you're going to put your money in a 401k, and that's pre-taxed. So guess what? When the tax rate is high, that's what you're when you start to retire 20, 40 years from now, all you young people, that money's going to be taxed.
So don't think, look, listen, I, for one, am not naive to think that the government was sitting there thinking just about us.
I know.
Oh, we need to help our citizens to retire nicely. So this is why we're going to do this. The government has no other way of making money other than taxing us. And
Correct.
if they make you put your money away, that's more money for them, especially later when it's time to get to be taxed.
Deferred.
So this is not something that is only to benefit the citizens, right? And that's the reason why we're here to talk about some of these things. And I often hear a lot of people talk. We're going to talk a lot about a 401k today, but I hear some people who just went to a 3-week class or a 24, 48-hour class, and they've considered themselves financial gurus, and they're over here yelling at people, oh, your 401k is crap. Listen. And you and I have spoken about that before. Without the 401k, some of these people would be retiring with absolutely no money, because if
Right.
the money is there in their hand, the money screams loudly to tell you what to do with it, you
That's
know?
right. And just
And,
having a portion taken out of your paycheck, like you don't even see it, that is sometimes a big benefit
oh,
to
yes.
people who are not used to really saving money.
That's
You
right.
know?
So that's what it's there for. Now, this act contains 92. The government can't do anything without making piles and piles of 92 new provisions to promote savings and to boost incentives for businesses, and just to offer more flexibility for those for saving for retirement, right? It also includes, and we're going to get into this a little bit more, but it includes some automatic enrollment. How do you think that's going to go with some people?
Woo! Can you imagine? They're gonna say, I didn't want to enroll in that 401k.
Right.
Well, you
So
have
some
to sign this
automatic
form.
enrollment. It's not going to be for every business, but
Hmm.
the business owners, if you're listening, you want to listen up. You have some employees, you want to listen up, because if it's there are going to be some people that are that do not have to do it, but this is going to be the law. And so there's also going to be an increase for taking your required minimum distributions, known as RMDs. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in detail, what that means. And then there's going to be some significant tax benefits for the employers as well, because we got to take care of the businesses.
That's true.
that's how that's how So let's get into a little bit about the understanding the Secure 2.0 Act, right? The Secure
Mhm,
2.0 Act, right? We know
mhm.
that it was passed bipartisan, with um, almost equal Democrats and Republicans. So you want to talk a little bit about the first part, the automatic retirement plan enrollment, and how this works?
Yes, yes. So I work with a lot of employer groups, and some of them have retirement or 401k plans, and some don't. If you belong to the school, you have that 401, 403b plan. So here's what the requirement is for the Secure 2.0. Okay, so beginning in 2025. Okay, and some of them have already started.
Mm-hmm.
It requires employees to automatically enroll an eligible employee in a 401k or 403b plan with a participation amount of at least 3%, but no more than 10%. Now, one of the things that is very attractive when you're creating and designing a 401k is an employer match. The contribution that I contribute 3%, My employer contributes 3%. That's what we call a match. So at least we encourage you to at least do that.
Right.
So that's what this automatic retirement plan. It means the government says, and Mr. Employer, if you have 10 or more employees, okay. Now there are some opt-outs. New businesses with a 10 or more, 10 or less employees. Some church plans, some government plans are exempt, but for the most part, Mr. Employer, you've got to put a 401k plan in your business for your employees and automatically enroll them in it unless
Oh
they
yeah.
opt
Yeah.
out by signature.
Yeah. And then the contributions can escalate at a rate of 1% up to a minimum of 10%
Right.
and a maximum of 15%. So and I have to bring this in right now because a lot of times I will speak with some of my some people and they're like, oh, I'm enrolled in my 401k, but some of them can't tell you how much they're contributing to it. Some of them can't tell you what match the employer is doing. So it's important for you to know that, especially if you're younger, um, you're now getting into living life. Find out what's the match. Do
Correct.
at least the match.
At
Do at
least.
least the match.
Right.
And then we have speak with one of us. We have options for you to make sure that you can where you can put the other part of your money so that you're not subject to all of that taxes later on,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
And Carmen, one more thing I need to say. Existing 401k plans are not required to do the auto enroll. So if
no,
you already
right,
have one in place, then that's key.
that's
Because
key.
I love the match, because before you know it, you've got all this money that you contributed with
It's
your
free
hard
money.
work, your
It's free.
labor. Yeah, it's pretty much free.
It's
So at
pretty
least
much
do
free money, and we like free money. So
that.
take free money and so at least do that. And however, if you do the minimum or if you do the match, that is not enough. You still need to do that 10 or 15%. And however, you may want to do it some other ways, right? Do you have some things like the Roth accounts that you can do, which allows you to pay the taxes now, which and we are in the low taxes are the lowest that they've ever been right now, even though it's the where it is and we want to complain about it, but the effective tax rate is the lowest it's ever been. So you can pay the taxes now and put the rest of the money in the Roth, and then we have something that will daunt the Roth because it's like the Roth on steroids because you get all these additional benefits as well as saving money on a tax deferred basis and then accessing it tax free. All right. So you did say that some small businesses with fewer employees, they will not be affected. But if you're a small business and you want to keep your good employees, this might be something for you to
Yeah.
do,
It's
right?
an employee, how can I say, attraction tool.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody wants to work now.
That's
So we
right.
can attract employees.
That has been the thing. And then there is you might have heard the term RMDs, which are required minimum distributions, right? So under the law, RMDs are before this new law went into effect in January and December of 2021 2022, sorry. You're required to start pulling that money out. So it means that the government says, I don't care if you want to say that you don't need to touch that money that you've been saving up for retirement in those 401ks, those IRAs, those any of those types of vehicles. The government says when you're 72, we need to get our taxes, people. We let you we let you put it away pre-tax. We want our money. So they're tapping on you and saying at age 72 you had to pull out that required minimum. How do they figure that out? It's based on your balance, based on your age, based on the life expectancy, and they tell you how much you had to take, and you had to do that at age 72. If you did not do it, you would suffer a 50% penalty on the money that you had to take. So if you had to take out $6,000 for that year and you did not take out that $6,000, you will forfeit $3,000 to the government. You still will pay taxes on the other 3,000 that you
Wow.
did not take.
Wow. And you know what, Carmen? I read an article the other day, just kind of glanced at it. So, when people are talking about going on Social Security when you turn 62, because it said an enormous amount of people go on Social Security when they reach that 62. So, what they're trying to do is encourage people to wait until 60. Well, the baby boomers are certain at a certain year, if you were born, your retirement age is 66 and something. So now it's not 65, it's 66 and something, and 60, I'm 67 or something.
Right,
And so they're
depending on your year of birth. Yes.
right. And so they're trying to change the wording so that more people will not take Social Security at 62, but wait, because you get more money if you wait. But guess what? That balances out. You may not live to 67 or 68 or 70. So those, we have to think about those things. I can't tell people what to do, but you have to know everything and then you make an informed decision.
That's absolutely right. And many of my clients that I talk to, have been retired. They retired 62, and they're like, I don't know if I'm gonna live. I want to at least get some of my money. I don't care about it later. So they're taking the money.
Mhm.
The truth is that the longer once you get to full retirement, you're able to you get more money, and then even if you put it a little longer, all the way to age 70, then you get even more money. The truth of the matter is that it kind of evens out like 15 years later. But are you going to live that 15 years? I don't know.
Right. And then with inflation and things going up, some seniors or somebody who's on retirement and retired early or took their Social Security early may get a part time job. You can only
Yes.
make so much money when you have elected that Social Security. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things to think about, a
Yeah.
ton of them. If you're a real estate agent and you've elected at 62 and you're still actively working, and you're making commissions, you need to think about it. Think about
Yeah.
waiting or
Yeah, because for every $3 you make, they take two. But it's not that it's lost. It's not that you're never going to get it back. It's added back on the back end, but they just don't want you to kind of double dip.
hmm
Starting this year though, January 1, 2023, that age 72, that required minimum age has changed to 73. So that's good. You can leave your money if you don't need to touch it. That has changed to 73.
Well, thanks for giving me that extra year.
Yes, yes. And that's not all. Everybody gets a car. But it will also increase to 75 um by 2032. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going up. It's going up. You get an extra. I don't know why we have to wait. But it will increase to 75. So that's
Well,
good.
I think here's my take on our health conditions, because we're eating more processed foods, we're eating a lot. A lot of us have serious health conditions. There's problem. I read an article and I had to send this to my son. Colon cancer um, diagnosis is happening earlier. So
Mm,
the younger you are, it's and at 45 is what it changed to. So now the doctors will allow you to take the colonoscopy at starting
at
at age
45.
45.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
is a life-saving measure. So you know
Mhm.
what? If you're not taking care of yourself, if you're eating all this processed food, we have this gut problem, this gut health that we're always talking about. We're not Our vegetables are being made in a laboratory, and they're talking about all this kind of stuff. So we got to think about our environment. And remember, when we were younger and you went to grandma's house and she lived in the country, they lived to 103, 104, 105. They were eating from the ground. They were, I mean, everything that they had was fresh. You know, when I
Mhm.
want something, you know, you go to the grocery store. You don't go outside and kill the pig. And I remember seeing a pig slaughtered. You know,
Oh.
I remember that when I was little, but that's how they
Right.
did it back then. They
Mhm.
lived a long time. So
Yep.
we just have to think about all of the things, especially our environment, what we eat, what we do, our exercise. And as we grow older, we start thinking about those things. I start thinking about those things because as I got older, I'm like, man, it's hard for me to walk. And I need to go to Disneyland. And Disneyland, it's like just the thought
Mhm.
running around Disneyland with some grandkids wasn't attractive to me. So I had to get healthier and get my
Mhm.
stamina up. And those are some things that we can do to help ourselves, especially when we get to this time in our life when maybe we can't work. Or maybe,
Mhm.
you know, the income, maybe our spouse has passed away and now you're on one income. We
Yeah.
don't think about those things. A
Well,
lot
some other good news
of,
is
mhm,
that um, if the tax, I told you before that if you did not take that required RMD, it
mhm,
was a 50% excise tax on it or penalty on it. They're
mhm.
reducing that to 25%. So that's not
Great.
25%. You know, instead of taking half, they'll take quarter if you fail to take the required RMD. Also, it's going to be further reduced all the way down to 10% later. So that seems fair, right?
Yeah.
But the government was, I mean, seems a little better than what, because it's our money, it's your money. You've taken all the risk with this money and everything like that. You want to preserve some of this money to pass on to your family or whatever reason you think government is like, no, 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 I need my taxes. And if
I
you
need
don't
it.
take it, I'm going to penalize you. Well, that is going down from 50 to 25% this year, and then it's going to be further reduced down to 10%
Wow.
beginning, when does that happen? 25 to 10% sometime in the future, but it's also going down. All right, and then there was also under that section, the required minimum, there's a section that eliminates the pre-debt RMD for the owner of a Roth designated account
Okay.
in an employer 401k. That's pretty new. They recently started doing Roth 401ks, which allows the employee to put their money in 401ks through their jobs and put after tax dollars.
Mhm.
So the under the current law, the required minimum distributions are not required to begin prior to the death of the Roth IRA, although pre-death distributions are required in the case of the owner Roth designated account in an employer retirement account. So
Mhm.
even though like the Roth has a little less stipulations, but when it's with the 401k, we still have some stipulations.
Why, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
Carmen, I had a client the other day. I enrolled him in a Medicare plan, and he's still working. He got some letters from Social Security, and he had two retirement plans he had forgotten about. He had
Mm,
worked. He said, "Oh my gosh, that was 40 years ago." He didn't know. So they sent the notices. And those are, if you think about it, back then he said he doesn't even remember contributing to it. Well, he got the
right.
notice. So now he can take that money and either put it, he's still working, he wants to put it in his 401k, or he can do something else with it. But it's the thought that he actually literally had money that he had forgotten about. And a lot of people do. You forget
Yes.
about, you worked over here and they had a retirement plan and you contributed, and you didn't, when you changed jobs, you didn't do anything about it. So we have to make sure we know where, and that's another thing, know where our money's going so that we can save, you know, for our future. And there's so much to talk about this 2.0.
There,
We
there
haven't even got through
is.
half of the stuff we started to talk about.
I told you there were like 92 different things. We're definitely
Oh
not
my
going through
gosh,
92 different things on
it's a
this
lot.
tonight.
It's a lot.
But one of the things that we ask our clients are, where did you work? Where have you been working? And these questions are designed to kind of trigger people's memories about places they work that they may not know that they have money sitting. Some of them might just be they're not being able to manage it and it's losing money. Some that's money you don't have control over because you have left it with someone. So when we ask those questions, it's so that you can actually do inventory of where your money is.
Yes.
And now we can move those dollars to really work for you, right? There are people that have money sitting in places that have been losing money in the stock market or making a meager 1 or 2%. And even though, but now you have some options. So if you have money sitting in your being lazy in a 401k, you have some options now to put that money where it can make some good dollars, especially in the face of the interest rates going up. Um,
Now, Carmen, I have a question. So, what about those people who are in their 50s and they have not done anything? Is there some way we can catch up some contributions if we have an employer?
yep. So that is also one of the things on the bill, right? Which gives us some catch up for people ages over 50.
Right.
Um, so now, was it $1,000?
Uh-huh.
The
It increases now.
it increases. So it actually people ages what 60 to 63, they've increased that to $10,000 or 150% of the standard catch up that we have right now.
Right.
And then starting in 2024, the limits are going to increase from 3,500 to 5,000.
Right. So
So,
that means that if you and I subscribe to Reddit, and
mhm.
there are so many people that ask the question, I am 50 and I haven't done anything. What should I do? I don't have any money for retirement. I'm banking on Social Security. This is where you can do catch up. If you have an employer that offers a 401k, you can put a little more money in there than just not doing anything. And you need to talk to your CPA or your tax professional, and then your insurance professional, because maybe there are some things that we can do to help you to retire without having the stress of not having any money, and the future can look brighter for you, because there are a ton of people who are at that age that have not, because they're busy with life, they haven't been
Yeah.
able to save money. And especially our business owners who are self-employed. Those that are self-employed, you have to be really careful, because you may not have built up enough money in Social Security. I know a lot of real estate agents back in the 70s and 80s that didn't have anything in Social Security. They just didn't, because they were not making enough money and they weren't doing things properly. So there's a
Right.
lot of stuff that we need to do to make sure that we can be, if we can't be super comfortable, that at least we can pay our bills in
Yeah.
retirement.
And I should have looked up the current limits right now, but
Mm-hmm.
needless to say, if you are older than 50, that's what you can do. Sacrifice whatever, but you got to put away for later on when you're unable to work. And so those limits are increasing for you to catch up, to put some more money away.
Right.
Thing. The next part, I got I'm iffy about it. The next thing, which is access to retirement funds, and you've heard us talk about this before, where we can help you to save your money in a place where you can access it tax free, and you won't get a penalty if you're under 59 and a half, and as long as you are using that money effectively for something, whether it's to reduce debt or whatever, and then you pay that money back, um, that money is going to continue to compound, and that those are some vehicles that we have that we can offer you. if you had to go into your retirement account currently and you were under 59 and a half, you were charged a 10% penalty. That's
Mm.
in addition to taxes. That has nothing to do with the taxes. So if you wanted $10,000, you'd have had to at least take $11,000 because 1,000 was going to the government, and you still got to pay taxes on that. So you had to take
Wow.
more in order to net whatever. But now it's this new law is going to allow you to access $1,000 one time a year for
Mhm.
some kind of emergencies.
Well, you remember when COVID first hit, you were able to do that out of your retirement plans. So they
Yeah,
even put a provision in here for natural disasters. My goodness, what's happening? Fires, floods, pouring down rain. We have here in California, where I live, it literally snowed. It never snows here. It snowed. We had hail. Natural disasters are picking up in frequency. And what happens, we got caught. A lot of people got caught. There is a little community here up in the mountains. These
yeah.
people couldn't get out of their homes for a week. They
And
couldn't get
they're
out
in
of
trouble today again because it's a big
it's
storm
another
coming
one
through today.
coming.
Hmm. So they're saying that it's also floods and all sorts of things. I meant to ask you if it was close to you.
Not
Um,
really, not really, but the snow did come. But then what if you can't get on the internet to ask for that money? I'm just teasing. Because when when the snowstorm, I saw it on the news today. It was interesting. Now, you have to be ready for a natural disaster if you live in the snow, places where it snows. And a lot of cities and states are already prepared with snow plows and all those kind of things. But the snow was so high, they needed something different than a regular snow plow.
Snowplow. Yes, I saw it like piled up to the top of
I
the
know.
houses.
Eh,
Turned
Man,
into real life igloos, I guess.
yes, yes. And see, I don't like being cold.
Hmm.
And I love the heat. I love the desert. I love just, nice weather. It was beautiful today.
That's
Beautiful.
great. Yeah.
But there is dark clouds over the horizon that are coming because another storm is coming.
Yeah, so this actually allows you to get access. I mean, sometimes you get very upset that you have money, but you can't take it, or that the
Mhm.
government is taking away so much in the penalties. And, they put those penalties in place so that you wouldn't want to take it, so that you would have money for retirement. But now they're allowing you to take $1,000 a year without, for any kind of emergencies. And if you listen to us, you will start your emergency fund. That way you can at least have $1,000 saved, and you wouldn't need to go there for to take out money from your retirement plan for an emergency. But it also allows you to set up a Roth emergency account, say savings account, and you
Mhm.
can do that with up to $2,500, and that started in 2024. Something good. People sometimes are in really bad spaces, domestic violence. They can't,
Yes.
they feel like they have to be there, and women are losing their lives. I mean, men too, but for the most part, it's women who lose their lives in these types of situations. But now those the survivors of domestic violence will be able to access um either $10,000, the lesser of $10,000, or 50% of your retirement account if you need to be able to pick up and go someplace where you could be safe from your aggressor.
Now,
And then,
Carmen, that is a great. I mean, just think about it. If maybe someone, they're just afraid for their life. They have no money. They can run out of the house with the kids and just be gone. And
yes.
to be able to, if you have something like this opportunity to take a small withdrawal and maybe start over somewhere else
Oh,
or
yeah.
just get
Oh, yeah.
away. I
I
like
mean,
that.
you have to be alive if you're going to be able to enjoy the money in the future.
I
So
know.
if you can have access to it in these kind of cases, and like you said, the natural disasters, you can withdraw up to 22,000 from your retirement account without any kind of penalty. Um, just and then they're going to continue what they did over the last couple of years, which is you pay the taxes over the next 3 years. They treat it as gross income over 3 years without penalty. That's what they did in 2020. If you pulled out money, you didn't suffer the penalty, and then the taxes were paid back over the next 3 years, rather than thing. This qualified longevity annuity contract is amazing to me. I don't know if you saw that, but apparently right now people are
Oh,
able to move $125,000 of their um, retirement into a qualified longevity annuity contract,
oh,
which is
wow.
great for long-term care and things like that. And then I guess that's not subject to those RMDs, but they're increasing that 125,000 to 200,000. So I think that
Wow.
is super awesome
Yeah, that is.
that they're doing that. And then there's a rule that they're going to cap premiums at 25% of the participants' total assets. And so
Wow.
I think that's great, because so many, so little people have any long term care set up, which is another reason to talk to your insurance professionals, because we, as your life insurance professionals, because we are not only talking to you about life insurance in case you die, we're talking to you about life insurance in case you live. We're talking about living benefits that can take care of you if you don't have to. Listen, it would be great if everybody had 125,000 or
Mm-hmm.
200,000 of their retirement money to put away. But the truth is, most people are retiring with $100,000 or less in their
Yeah.
retirement account. So
Wow.
what can they put away, right?
And you
So
said something really powerful before we started. So if you have 100,000 put away and your salary was 20,000 a year, you've only got about 5 years of really living expenses. But what do we do when people get a lump sum of money? But if you have that $100,000, they're going to be taxed. You're going to be taxed on that 100,000.
yes, exactly.
There's a lot to think about here, and it's not just doom and gloom. We don't always want to bring doom and gloom. There's always, you know we what we do is we want to encourage you to think about a few years, in the future. Right now, we are experiencing the age of the Jetsons. You remember the Jetsons when we used to watch them on TV, and
Yes.
they actually had Zoom because they would sit back and watch the TV. I mean, they had the doctor on the TV. We
Yeah.
are really experiencing that because
So
things are changing.
someone says the only thing we don't have yet is the flying cars.
I thought we did.
Well, I saw them experimenting with that a couple of years, but I don't think it's taken off yet. Thing, and
Yeah.
I just don't want to imagine a crash with flying cars.
Can
It's
you
so
imagine?
bad on the ground, much less in the
Ooh,
air. Like I
can
don't
you
even want to
imagine?
imagine that.
Ooh,
So,
the
oh
road
my
rage, the sky
goodness, right?
rage.
Yeah, I don't want to imagine that, but you're absolutely right about that. So basically this Secure to Act 2.0 Act, it has taken effect. Some of the things are already in effect. Some things are going to go into effect later on in 2023, 2024. Some doesn't even start until 2025, like Aaliyah talked about when she talked about the automatic enrollment plan that doesn't start until 2025. The RMDs, the delay or the rollback that started this year. So that's good. How does this affect Social Security? It doesn't have anything to do with Social Security per se, but it's important that you know that Social Security is not, they're expected to run out of money in about
I
10,
know.
just over 10 years. So we've got to do something else. We are basically responsible for our retirement. So the bottom line is we just want to be able to come and share with you some of the things that can affect you, and we want you to know about it right now.
Right now. This is such a timely topic when people are feeling the pinch of just living every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad to see a lot of the seniors, when because we're both in the Medicare space, we talk to seniors a lot.
Lots of
Some of them,
seniors.
yeah, some of them have prepared, but they're
Hmm.
not prepared for how much their prescriptions are going to cost. They're not
Yeah.
prepared for that because your group insurance plan, you didn't have to pay much for it, and when you went to the pharmacy, you paid $5 or $10 for some prescriptions. Well, it's
Hmm.
different in the Medicare space.
And some of our seniors are really for the fact that they now are on this limited income, and if they were on a ACA Affordable Care Obamacare plan, they were accustomed to paying 0 to 10 to $20 a month for their prescriptions, for their not their prescriptions, but for their premiums. They had either zero premiums or they didn't have any. Some of them had deductibles and things like that. But now they're gonna go from that to having to pay this year $170, $170.10 for premiums every month. You
And
know,
you know what, Carmen? It is real. We because we work in this space, I get to hear this because people are like, "Well, what do you mean I have to pay this money every month?"
or why do I have to go? Why can't I stay on this? But you can't.
You can't.
You can't. You
So,
turn 65, you have to move to Medicare. The
mhm,
people that can stay on there would be people who probably don't have, did not qualify for Medicare. I'm not even sure how that works, but that's how they probably could
mhm,
stay on there. But once you qualify for Medicare, you cannot stay on an Obamacare plan.
right.
And people were,
Please. I
yeah,
have a list.
I had one client. uh, I had one client that I spoke to recently that was so upset because his prescriptions were covered under his Obamacare plan, and
Hmm.
he did not pay a premium each month. And so he was enjoying getting that Social Security. Been on Social Security since he was 62. So he's been enjoying getting in that Social Security. Well, if you imagine that, if you were getting $1,000, 10%, $100 or more,
Hmm.
close to 20%, actually 170, is going now to pay for that. So now your thing is reduced down, and then you still have some other out of pocket
Hmm.
things.
And
So I often try to educate
yep.
people, especially who they see these TV commercials, and the TV commercials promises all these big things. And I'm not saying they're not all true, but they're very misleading because that does not apply to everybody. And and a lot of people are surprised by the things that they have. And I would even educate people, get them into the best plan for them. And the only thing that I'm glad is that they will call me and say, "Hey, I just saw that I could get such and such. Is that true?" And please call me. Please call whomever you are, is trusted, because these people will leave you in a lurch. You will
Oh,
go, they'll switch you to a plan that your doctors don't. Yeah, you might get an extra something, but now your doctors are not in the network or in the plan. You cannot, your medicines are not covered because they're not on that particular plan. All these different things. When you speak with professionals like Aaliyah, like myself, and others that that you can trust, we check for all of those things. And it's important that your medicine can keep you alive, rather than these people trying to promise you, something else that is not true or whatever. People
right.
often don't realize that they have to be, in order to qualify to get all those bells and whistles that these people are talking about, is they have to be below a certain income. That
Yep.
they have to be maybe on Medicaid. They have to have some chronic condition, all these different things. You cannot have what your neighbor have.
That's right. Oh goodness, Carmen, this was so informative. I appreciate the fact that when there are things that happen, especially in the financial services world, we bring it to everyone's attention. That's why we're called the Millionaire Ladies Mob. We want to create millionaires, millionaire babies, millionaire teenagers, millionaire adults. And we want to make sure that you have enough information that you can make an informed decision. And that's the most important thing, especially if you have a family. If you waited later in life, like a lot of people are waiting later in life to have children. So if you're in your 40s and you're having children, you've got 20, 25 years before retirement, and your kids may still be at home. May have kids at home, and then the kids are coming back because I also saw something about these tiny houses. There's so many different things that we can do in our retirement that can help us save money, but we've got to prepare.
We've got to prepare, and that's why we're here, to
That's why we're here.
just kind of make these things known, because so many people are retiring and they don't know, because this is not taught. This is not, they don't teach you anything about this, and you're just thrown into this. We have people calling us. They turned 65 2 months ago. Wait, what am I supposed to do again? I don't want to get a penalty now. And when you say, okay, you might be still in the thing, then we realize they haven't even done one of the steps, which may take another month or two, which was going to throw them into a penalty. And then that penalty is forever. And then there's some people that are super prepared. They're calling you now, but they don't really need to worry about the penalty because they're still working and they still have credible coverage, and or what Medicare calls credible coverage, and they don't really need to do anything. But I like those people because we can help to educate them and talk with them. So if you are, first of all, we're talking to you if you're in your 20s, because you need to start planning for retirement right now. We're talking to you for your 30s because you need to, 20s and 30s. We're talking to you in your 40s and 50s because you definitely need to. And we're definitely talking to you for in your 60s because you're getting ready to retire, and we can help you to get all the information that you need in order to make the best decisions for yourselves.
I heard Walmart may not be having greeters anymore. So if you are thinking that when you retire, you're going to get a job as a greeter at Walmart, that may not be an option.
Well, I can understand that. They don't even want to have cashiers. They have decided that they can use us to work for them for free.
I didn't train on the cash register.
I didn't train on the cash register. Now I need to figure out what number I got to put in and whatever. And they have decided that because they don't have to pay benefits to the cameras that they put to look at you. So they've decided, what a business model.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to get these people to come in here and spend their money, and then I'm going to make them work for me while they do it.
That's right.
What a business model. There was a guy, Balky, in the 80s. He used to say, what a country. What a country. Balky in the 80s. I don't know where Balky was from, but Balky used to say, what a country. That's the country we live in.
Yeah. So, I mean, we kind of have fun with this, but this is a serious conversation, and we love that you, on a Thursday evening, decided you would join us. Now make sure you like, share this video, comment on it later on. We watch the comments, watch it on YouTube and in our Facebook group. So we want to make sure you have the best retirement that you can have. My name is Aaliyah Sherrod. I am the healthcare queen, and you can reach me at the Millionaire Ladies Mob, or just Aaliyah Sherrod on Facebook and all the other, those social media outlets. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you guys for joining us. This was a wonderful conversation. Thank you, Aaliyah, so much. I'm Carmen Bernard, and you can reach me at carmen10k.com, or you can also reach us at the millionaireladiesmob.com. Send us an email, millionaireladiesmob@gmail.com. Anything else?
That's it. Next week, we have some more series planned that are just going to be so much information. You're not going to want to miss any of our episodes. So we look forward to seeing everybody, next week. But that's it.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye, everybody.